sages, devotees want to know what to do so they don't become bound. Yeah. So then the conclusion of that, acting in transcendental knowledge, to the result of that, is just like Krishna is completely untouched, the devotee also becomes free by acting according, being possessed of transcendental knowledge, and then acting according to it. You can act and move in this world, but you're not going to get entangled. Yeah. So therefore, just be fixed on your duty, and every little thing's gonna be all right. Okay? No need to worry. Okay, so there you go. That's a quick summary of chapter 4. Okay, it's very good. And so let's get into chapter 4, finishing chapter 4. That's right there in your handbook, okay? So you can have access to that anytime. Stop share and share Bhagavad Gita. Share. 5, 4. Okay, you can see this, everyone online. I need to be reassured that it's all happening for you online. Just please. Great, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. So where are we now? What chapter is this? Let's have a look. Okay, let's go into it's universal form. Okay, we're reading that online at the moment. Chapter 4, that's why we're there. So, first prize for telling us where we left off last week.
33.
Great. 32, 33. So we're on 33 beginning today, okay? So this is chapter beginning, finishing chapter 4, 26. Okay, and there's an important verse coming up, chapter 34. Many of you might know it, hopefully. Okay. So you can, it's okay, you can see this sitting here. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. All right. So text 33. So here, when may be formed, say one may be formed karma kanda. What's a karma kanda? If one's doing a karma kanda sacrifice, what are they hoping to achieve?
Heavenly planets or
That's it. Heavenly planets, some material
opulence.
opulence, wealth, strength, or wealth, opulence of karma kanda. Yeah. But that means that if they're doing a sacrifice, they have to give up something. They have to make a sacrifice. Yeah. So they give up, so they may give up some limited types of sense gratification in order to attain the heavenly planets. Yeah. But actually, that is performed without real knowledge. Why is it not performed without real knowledge? Why would someone in transcendental knowledge not do a karma kanda activity?
Because they're above the modes of nature.
Yeah, because it's about
That's
the most.
big back question.
But what do they get?
They are in relationship with Krishna. They want Krishna.
Yeah, but in other words, devotees are more intelligent. They should be more intelligent because whatever one gets on that path is material, so it's temporary. Yeah. So devotees, they develop transcendental knowledge and they lead to higher realms or the spiritual world. Yeah. So that's why here it means the sacrifice performed in knowledge. Okay. Transcendental knowledge. So doing a sacrifice or engaging in Krishna's service, you're sacrificing for Krishna, then the result is higher. Yeah, so that is the result. Do you remember the verses before? We're speaking about different types of sacrifice. Yeah. So Krishna is summarizing that here now. So the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than sacrifice of material possessions. So to go to the heavens, you have to do some sacrifice. You have to be some sacrifice of your present situation. Yeah. After all, Sanaprita, all sacrifices should culminate in transcendental knowledge. So again, transcendental knowledge is about the divine. This is about Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. So now Krishna, now we go to text 34. It's there. And this is quite an important purport. So I thought we could just read through this purport here. Tadvidi, hands up if you know this verse. Great, let's all repeat it together. Tadvidi panipadena padipasena sevayo opati skandati gana gananas tattvadarshanaha. Right, so Krishna has explained all different types of sacrifices, etc., etc. So it may be somewhat confusing. Yeah. So how do we learn this science of how to act according to our mentality and according to our situation? Yeah. So then you're going to want to approach a spiritual master. Yeah. Because they can guide you. And ultimately, tattvataha, they can guide you to the truth. Yeah. Someone who's had revelation of the truth. They can guide you to that truth. So it plays an important role in spiritual life, and it plays an important role, as you know, in Vedic culture. No matter what path one is on, even if one is on the path of karma kanda, jnana kanda, yeah, ashtanga, then they will know that they have to get directions from a guru. Yeah, so it plays an important role in Vedic culture, and also in, as you know, in Krishna consciousness. Evam parampara praptam. Yeah, that's the way transcendental knowledge is received. Yeah, from guru to disciple. So, let's just read this purport here. Any volunteers to read? Let's have someone online can read for us. Keep you involved. I know what it's like online. The tendency is to get distracted. Someone could read the purport, beginning the path of spiritual realization. And then if anyone got any questions on this, we can have a couple of minutes. We can have a guru disciple seminar. If there's any questions on that subject. Okay, someone online? Mother Harini, can you read for us?
Yes.
Can you go ahead?
Just try to learn the truth by approaching the spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service to him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge into you because they have seen the truth. Purpose. Did I read the purpose?
Yeah, go ahead. Read the whole purport.
The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciples. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam says, Haramam Tushakshat Bhagavan Pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot have led one to the right path, nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant, without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiry from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In his verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiry. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect.
Okay, thank you. Nice reading, Mama. Thank you. Hare Krishna. All right, so any questions about that? It's also mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion. Anyone's read Nectar of Devotion? Most of you probably read parts of it, some of it. That's the last book you'll be studying.
I've done it in the summer, in the sunset.
Okay, yeah. So Rupa Goswami describes there, he describes the principles of Vaidhi Bhakti, what to actually do, what is actually devotional service, what do you actually do? you pay obeisances, etc. You chant the names of the Lord. Yeah, you dance for the Lord, etc. And also he mentions one of the most important is Guru Pad Ashraya, which means taking shelter of the lotus feet of spiritual master. Ador, first thing, one of the first principles. Okay, so Krishna brings this up here, and Prabhupada speaks about this principle here in the purple. Okay, if you've got any questions online, you have to just unmute and make it known. Okay, you can try putting your hand up, so I'll try to keep my eyes on that. If I don't see it, if you can just unmute. Okay, don't forget, anyone here, if you have any questions as we go. If we're going too fast, please let me know. So I'm trying to we have to catch up a little bit. Trying to get through chapter 5 today. Let's see how we do. All right. So then what will be the result? What's going to be the result of inquiring from and serving the spiritual master with submission? So this is the next verse, okay? So it says, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you'll never again fall into such illusion. So what's Arjuna's illusion?
False knowledge.
Yeah, more details.
Thinking is the body, bodily details.
Yeah, he's identifying with the body, and so therefore he's identifying himself as being related to other bodies. But how can you be related to something that's going to be burned or buried in the ground? Yeah. So he's in bodily concept of life, as you know, arranged by Krishna. So having obtained real knowledge, you'll never again fall into such illusion, because by this knowledge you will see everyone is part and parcel of me. Yeah. In other words, that they are mine. Yeah. Yeah. So in other words, Arjuna here should not think that his relatives again are going to die. That's why Krishna's saying this in this verse. Yeah. So understand that all living beings, doesn't matter whether they're animals, birds, bees, or whatever, they're all actually sometimes described. They're actually they're actually non-different from Krishna in one sense. Yeah, being situated within him, all parts and parcels of Krishna. So that's real knowledge. That's a knowledge that Krishna is asking Arjuna to see the battlefield, knows on the battlefield. Yeah. Okay. Then Prabhupada writes here in the purple, the result, just in the beginning here, the result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Okay? The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Yeah? So it means that Maya is an illusion, as we know, but Maya doesn't exist. Does that make sense?
Yes, because actually no one's separate from Krishna.
Yeah, because nothing is separate from Krishna. But to see it as separate, that is Maya. That's Maya, to see it as separate.
Condition.
To see with transcendental knowledge means you are not in Maya. Yeah? So Maya is more, it's a state of mind, but also Maya has its consequences for someone in illusion. But being an illusion, therefore the material world is created to facilitate that illusion. Yeah? So it's quite all pervasive in that sense. But still, if we have the knowledge, we can see everything as being Krishna's energy. Everyone and everything is ultimately being moved by Krishna. Yeah? Krishna is supplying the intelligence to everyone, even to go about their daily duties. Yeah? Masses of people, all they get knowledge. So everything, so in that sense, you can still see through the eyes of knowledge. Yeah. And That is the sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Yeah. It's quite a powerful potency. Although we are superior energy, it's a different subject, but we are superior energy. Why are we prone to become influenced by Maya? Although we're superior. Tatastha Shakti, but a bit more. I'm looking for something specific because we are very marginal. Yes, Mavalisa? Because
we're influenced by the modes of nature.
Yeah, why? Why? Because we're superior energy. Why are we influenced by it?
We're still subject to the absolute superior energy of
Because
Krishna. We're still subject to the absolute supreme personality of Godhead, even though we're supreme. We don't have the same level of power as Krishna.
yeah, so it means we're very small. So that's why we have the tendency to become overcome by Maya. Yeah. To be overcome by the virtues and disposition of everyone else. So we take on the same illusion as those around us. Yeah. And we therefore identify particular countries, particular political positions, etc., etc. You know, because we have tendency, because we're very small. Yeah. My material energy is quite expansive. Yeah. And so yeah. So then the next verse, 36. Now this describes another fruit. So this is one fruit of transcendental knowledge that's just been described. You see everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Yeah. And another fruit here in next verse is third. Yeah, please. Sure.
The answer for like we getting overcome by Maya is it means there are living entities who are minute, but they are part of internal energy, like the residents of Vrindavan. They can never be overcome by Maya.
No, they are overcome by Maya.
So for us,
no, they are overcome by Maya.
They were
Yoga Maya.
But like you say, they cannot come under like external Maya's influence.
Well, they don't.
So the answer
They don't.
is,
They won't.
I mean,
they don't.
We being minute is not the main. We coming from Tatastha Shakti is the main problem, right? That's why we have the potential of getting overcome. Had we been from internal energy, we will not.
No, they still, but that's the definition of Nitya Shuddha. You can also tame that if you always choose Krishna. They're just always not in Maya because they're always in love with Krishna. It's not by dint of, you can look at it from their position of Shakti, but just like we can now, from this point on, we can choose to never be in Maya.
Yes.
And therefore, on the same level, on one sense, the same level as Nishishida. But they never misuse their independence. They never misuse their independence. So Prabhupada mentions that. I just want to bring it out that because the jiva is minute, he's often overwhelmed by the material energy because of his atomic size. But it doesn't have to be. If it's Krishna conscious, one will never be. Just like normally when most people from India or the East, when they come to the West, they're all starry-eyed, no? They can be. Perhaps no. Wow. I remember one time I was on Bhakti distribution, I saw these people, they must have come from Heathrow Airport, and they got out at Oxford Circus, first time in the UK from London. They came out, and I was, wow. Wow. It's like completely enamored by what's offered as far as sense gratification in the West, compared to little villages in India. It's like, of course, India is different now, the big cities. But did Prabhupada have that problem when he went to New York? What did he see? He felt compassion. He could see them all moving according to the modes of material nature. And he wanted to help them. He didn't become illusioned. So Prabhupada is,
Something very simple, which I'm struggling with well, is it quality or size or both?
could say it's both. Both, yeah. He said, yeah. But we can always choose not to be, we can choose to be Krishna conscious. But that choice often is not made automatically and straight away. It's like have to go a process of unfolding of the illusion, sharanagati, gradually take into a process where we begin to become aware of our illusion and become aware of Krishna at the same time. Yeah, Mother Lisa, sorry, you had your hand up there. Yeah, so Yoga Maya, for instance, Mother Yasoda thinks that, she thinks that unless I feed Krishna, he's going to die.
So it's not recognizing that he's the supreme personality of Godhead, but still loving him, right?
No, they are not fully. They are Krishna's. Sometimes they may be spoken of his actual position, but his sweetness and his human-like dealings with them, it floods out any sense of awe and reverence of who he actually is. That's Yoga Maya. So therefore, Mother Yasoda, she thinks Krishna is dependent upon her, and that's part of Vatsalya Ras. The Vatsalya Ras is that Krishna is dependent upon those giving parental affection. That's all Yoga Maya, because Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. In order to facilitate that exchange, has to be Yoga Maya. Just like when Mother, getting distracted here. Just like when Mother Yasoda, when she looked into Krishna's mouth, she saw all the universes, and then she became very philosophical. Oh, who am I? Who is this Krishna? What is our role in this world? She became the thoughts of a sadhu. And then Krishna thought that wasn't appropriate for the Vatsalya Ras. So then he manifests more his charming, sweet beauty, his chubby cheeks, and and she became overwhelmed with her beautiful darling son. And she forgot all about what she had seen. All right. So going on to text 36. So further results of this transcendental knowledge means you go beyond sin. Yeah. So just consider this for us. Consider it just for 2 seconds. Consider what's the most sinful. Okay, of all people doing sins, wrong things, think the most sinful of all of that. Well, don't try and go. Yeah, but transcendental knowledge can can take you out of that, and situated, beautifully described here on the boat. So transcendental knowledge acts like a boat which you can cross this ocean. Another way it's described is the most abominable activity. If you've been engaged in the most abominable activities, if you're the most sinful of all sinners, if you develop knowledge about Krishna, you can become a great saint. Sorry, someone online?
I just made a quirky remark that's me. Sorry.
No problem. This story of Valmiki is an example of that, isn't it? He used to be a dacoit. Valmiki. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
He used to be a dacoit of the worst types to kill people, no? Pretty serious stuff, It's okay stealing someone's bike, cheating or something.
Try again.
No, I can't. But to kill people, and then to be situated as a great saint, that's the power of Krishna. Yeah, that's called transcendental knowledge. Yeah, so it's text 36. And it goes on further. You look at text 37. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all the reactions of material activities. Okay. And nectar of devotion is described the seeds of sin, the tendency goes in there. So we have bejas, which can fructify, engage in simple activities. But as we develop, as one develops transcendental knowledge and one's heart becomes purified, the tendency to commit simple activities is eventually eradicated from the heart. Yeah, the very tendency. And that's described in Srimad Bhagavatam as well, but we won't have time to get into the details there. Okay, so again, any questions online about this? Okay. Yeah, so quote from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. For one, Krishna says, for one whose heart has become purified, I destroy immediately whatever karma has already been generated, with the exception of something called prarabdha karma. Yeah. So prarabdha karma is matured reactions, which is this body. This body is a result of sinful activities, this material body, yeah? Prarabdha karma, yeah? That's going to stick around, yeah, for some time, yeah? Okay? Just like Mother Lisa's got an infection today, so that's called prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma. So text 38, any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask everyone online. Text 38, it's going to further glorify transcendental knowledge. After all, this chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. So Krishna's glorifying it here. This is a beautiful verse as well, text 38. I actually learned this fourth chapter, but I haven't gone over it for a long time, so I'm a bit out of sync on it. But I remember I was learning each of these verses, so wonderful. Because when you do learn slokas, you actually develop a relationship with them, as you might have experienced, you know. You actually spend time with that sloka, and you begin to become obsessed, you know, you begin to, as you're reciting it, you know, it becomes part of you, in one sense. So another tip about learning slokas, don't see it as a chore. See it as a bhajan, yeah? See it as an opportunity, see it as a bhajan, you know? And at some point, Krishna will give it to you, yeah, if you keep learning, but see it as a devotional activity. Don't see, oh God, I've got a long slide. No, just turn your mind. It's wonderful. I want to. Tulsi Maharaj used to say, you want to own it. You should want to own it. You should want to have that in your heart. You know, it's good. So here, this verse: in this world, there's nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism. And one who's become accomplished in this knowledge, become accomplished in the practice of devotional service, enjoys his knowledge within himself in due course of time. Kalena. Yeah, so this means, so here, Krishna is warning against premature renunciation. Yeah. Simply by adopting the garb of a sannyasi. Yeah, as some Mayavadis do. So that will not automatically put us in knowledge and free us of sin. Yeah. So in other words, by using the word kalena in due course of time, Krishna is encouraging to work, but be detached from the fruits. And in due course of time, kalena, yeah, you will enjoy it, you will realize this knowledge in due course of time. Yeah. So, yeah, and then by text 39. Okay. So next, Krishna explains the role of faith, yeah, in acquiring transcendental knowledge. So Krishna here is explaining the qualification that one needs for obtaining, and there's something quite comes up later, for obtaining transcendental knowledge, yeah. So Ashradadana, yeah, verse 139, yeah, a faithful man, the word is Ashradadana, yeah, who's dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses. That person's eligible. So we have to control the senses. To obtain transcendental knowledge, it's not going to happen unless there's some, we say, sacrifice on our point, you know, unless we're controlling our senses, you know. that person has the adhikar for obtaining this transcendental knowledge. So we have our regulative principles. Yeah. So, and having attained this, then the Sanskrit is Param Shantim Shanti. That's real peace. Yeah, the word Shanti comes up a few times in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. One would attain the supreme spiritual peace. Yeah. So here's the qualification for obtaining describe what it is. Now the qualification. Faith and in control of the senses. Then you can obtain transcendental knowledge. Yeah. And then the next verse he describes without faith, peace is not possible. Yeah. Next verse, text 40. But the ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For doubting soul, there's neither happiness, neither in this world nor in the next. Yeah. Now, it's interesting. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, I found this interesting. He explains there's 3 types of persons who are ashradadhana, who actually have no faith. Yeah. He describes one, they're just ignorant. Yeah. Agana. Then another one is ashradadhanaha, which is they're faithless. Another one is the doubter. So then hear more. The agana is foolish like an animal. Yeah, just foolish. Yeah. The next one, they have knowledge of Sastra, but they see there's so many different versions of what Sastra means and what it says. So they become a little bit apathetic. Oh, you say this, they say this, they say this, they say that. So they doubt the whole thing, It's just pointless. Yeah. Then the last one is Shamshayatma. They have some faith, but they're swayed by doubt. I don't know whether this process will work for me. Will this actually work for me on this, on that? I don't have faith that if I apply myself, I can become purified. Yeah. So he describes that as well as Sham or Shamshamatma. I don't know whether this process will be effective in my case. Yeah. So faith, Shraddha. Yeah? But then for the doubting soul, the happiness not in this world, nor in the next. Yeah. Now, next verse, text 41. Krishna reveals how to destroy doubts. Okay, we got doubts, how to destroy them. We may have doubts. Yeah. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge. Okay. So if we have doubts, we should read and study, ask, inquire. Tadviri Panipadena, that's what spiritual master is there for, So, one whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, they're situated in the self. So they're not bound, or Dhananjaya, or conquer of riches. Yeah.
What is the situation in the self means? Realizing your soul and eternal. Is that what that means?
Yeah, realizing the self as different from the body, as we heard in the second chapter.
Yeah.
Again, you're situated in knowledge of yourself. And if you're situated in knowledge of yourself, you can be in control of the self. And you can tolerate the urges and the pushings of the senses, because you're in knowledge of the self. That's described in the 5th chapter. We'll be looking at that. Yeah.
Well, just one thing comes to mind, what you just said about 39 in terms of Vishnu Chakra, those 3 types.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Thought came to my mind about Sadhu Sangha. So there's no disqualification. If you get the Sadhu Sangha, then that can be quelled very quickly.
Yeah, if you get Sadhu Sangha, then you're going to hear transcendental knowledge. Yeah.
It's almost
ask questions. And, yeah.
It's almost like unfortunate in the sense that if you don't get that, or could it be there's no Sukriti, like the desire is not strong enough?
Whatever it is, it means that there's not enough Hare Krishnas to give them it. Yeah, that's why we have to give. It's a sad fact. It's a sad fact that most people might not come in contact. That's why we want to disseminate. That's why we want to distribute books. We want to give everyone an opportunity.
So is their fault that their desire is not strong?
It's not exactly that. It may just be misfortune. What's that verse in Bhagavatam? The misfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Prayeneva sabya kalu asmin engagena manda samata matayo manda uphaga upadritaha. So this was the conclusion of this sadhus. They concluded persons are unfortunate in this world. But that's why even, for example, having a temple here, any non-devotee who's coming in contact with the temple, they are getting devotional credits. Yeah, where they're in the future time, we go on Harinam, persons smile at their Harinam, or they dance with their Harinam. Oh. Next life, or even this life, see, they're building up, that's called unknowing Bhakti, Bhakti or Mukhi Sukriti, unknowing devotional credits. And the more credits they build up, then in next life they become attracted. The natural attraction is there because of Bhakti practice in the last life, even if it was unknowing. Yeah. Like if the postman comes and they develop a nice relationship with Tripad, which is not hard to do. Hi, how are you today? Nice. Oh, you made friendship with a bhakta. That's very pleasing to Krishna. Yeah. Even though they go down the pub at night and they come in. Yeah.
Not an extra devotion. I think there's that verse about the log of wood comes up.
Yeah. The chances can be quite. So that's why we need to disseminate this transcendental knowledge as much as possible. Yeah. All right. So text final verse in this chapter. Let's see how we. So this gives Krishna speaks to impel Arjuna to act in knowledge. Okay. Now, Prabhupada in the purport here to this final verse, he gives a summary of the whole chapter. Okay. Now, what I want you to do, I'm going to give you some homework here. Okay. I hope you don't mind. Is that okay? Homework. Now, what I want you to do is this purport can be divided up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. I don't know, this might be too much for you to get, actually. It might be too difficult. Let me just, if you just write it down, I'll try and remember. So from here on the screen, from this part, the yoga system instructed by in this chapter, down to here. All right, down to here. This describes about the goal of sacrifice. Part 1. Yeah, that's the goal of sacrifice. Now, from this part here, I don't know if I can highlight it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. That's the goal of sacrifice. Okay, let me have a go at this. Now, this part here, we won't have time to read the whole thing. I want to get into it. So this part here, I've got to find it as well. This part here is the 2 levels of spiritual knowledge. So in your own time, you can read this with these sections in mind. Yeah. Oh yeah, just finishes it. And then learning of the Lord's transcendental activities. Begins. Let me put my glass in to see something. In the beginning, look for the word in the beginning. Now you can see it in the beginning. Might be here, might have gone over.
It's after Lord.
Okay, it's after Lord. Okay. Oh yeah, here, yeah. Thank you. So here, full number 1. Prabhupada uses this term. It's very it's an old term used to insult someone, isn't it? Here's full number 1. You are full number 1. You're number 1 full. Yeah, but this is the 2 levels of spiritual knowledge, okay? No, sorry, excuse me. Learning of the Lord's transcendental activities. Sorry. Learning of the Lord's transcendental activities. This is this section. Now, the next one is, Prabhupada describes the goal of all sacrifice, part 2, which is going back to Godhead, basically. Or he falls back. Yeah, here. Same one, anyway, get the idea. And then properly learning transcendental knowledge is the rest of this part, okay? So there's something you can, in your own time, for your interest, you can look at that purple with that in mind, the 4 sections. So the first one, the goal of sacrifice, part 1. The second, the 2 levels of spiritual knowledge. The third, learning of the Lord's transcendental activities. And the 4th, the goal of sacrifice. The 5th, part 2. And finally, properly learning transcendental knowledge. Okay? Barbara gives a wonderful summary of the whole purple. So you can.
What's the second one?
Second one is 2 levels of spiritual knowledge.
Well, can you start with that one more time, please?
First one, the goal of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Second, the 2 levels of spiritual knowledge. Third, learning of the Lord's activities, transcendental activities. The 4th, the goal of sacrifice, part 2. And then finally, properly learning transcendental knowledge. Yeah.
Sorry, where does the goal of sacrifice part 2 begin?
Yeah. Ignorance can be removed by gradual acceptance of the principles of Krishna consciousness. Previous page. Yeah.
At the end of this.
Okay. So that's a little bit of self-study you can do, okay? You won't be asked any questions on it, okay? Don't worry, you won't have this in your exam. Just for your interest, okay? All right, let's get into chapter 5, shall we? Now I want to share with you. Here we go. Okay, back sharing you with the handbook. Everyone online, you're okay? You're with us so far? You can hear and taking things in. Hare Krishna, great, fantastic. Hare Krishna. So let's have a look. Now we're going into chapter 5. A little synopsis here might make it easier to understand as we go through it. So similar question than in chapter 3 that comes up. Arjuna asks, yeah, which is better, work in devotion or renunciation of work? He's still not clear. Yeah, and the reason he's not clear because it's Krishna's arrangement. So Krishna can speak more. Yeah, so it gives an opportunity to Krishna to broaden, to speak more on these principles, to present the whole Bhagavad Gita. But still, yeah, so Krishna answers Arjuna's question and explains the process for achieving liberation through karma yoga in greater depth. So what's the title of chapter 3? Karma yoga.
Yeah.
What's the title of this chapter? Karma yoga. Action in Krishna. I was wondering what the difference was between these 2 chapters. What is it? Devotee was giving class the other day. I was going to ask Banu Swami. His mind's brilliant. You know, he can clearly, he's got everything. It's all categorized. And I was going to ask him this question: what's the difference between chapter 3 and chapter 5 in Bhagavad Gita? But here it's explained. It goes into the same thing, but in greater depth than in chapter 3. Okay, principles of karma yoga. So 1 to 6. This word, I'm sure if there's one word you're going to remember in this study is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yeah. So Nishkam Karma Yoga is easier than renouncing work. Yeah. Better engage in work and get purified gradually rather than artificially trying to renounce the world. Yeah, engage your propensities in Krishna service. Yeah, so that's described. So Arjuna is a bit confused. He's asking again whether renouncing work is superior to working with detachment. Yeah. Krishna replies, both are equal because they get to the goal. But the best one is working, but with detachment. Because it's easier for most people. Yeah. So it's easier and it's superior. So that's then 5 to 7 to 12. How to perform this. So yeah, this interesting, these verses. Devoted, an elevated soul here doesn't identify with the body nor the activities of the body. Yeah, he's detached. 13 to 16. The free doers, we're trying, yeah, this is interesting little study. Who is the doer? We give some comments here as well from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, a little bit. Yeah. Who's the actual doer? Are we doing things? Is it the most material nature? Or is it a super soul? Who's the actual doer? No, there's three doers. Yeah. 17 to 26. Yeah. Liberation by focusing on the super soul. Yeah. So it brings in here meditation, a smaran, a meditation upon the Lord. Yeah, on the super soul. One becomes equipoised. Yeah. Then 28, 27 to 28 now begins to coming into chapter 6, okay? This verse here. Yeah, it's given a little chapter 6, which is called, chapter 6 is called huh? Dhyana Yoga. Also known, it's actually Ashtanga Yoga. Dhyana means meditation. Yeah, Ashtanga. So this introduction to that. Then 29, peace on the platform liberation. Okay, give us some idea where we're going.
Are those
Yes.
subsections like definitive in the sense that if I got those like sticky markers and put them in the Gita, so like,
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, but again, different teachers divide it up in different ways as well. Yeah, one of the homeworks I was going to give you, but I thought not to make, was for yourselves to come up with the sections in the Bhagavad Gita and note down, but that might take too long. And someone might just put it in ChatGPT.
on the previous one, there's that nice acronym, transcend.
Yeah.
In the back, it was slightly different, confusing.
Yeah. So something's called acronyms. Some devotees use acronyms, which can be easier for memorization, you know?
There's no set section, it's debatable.
Yeah, different devotees may set, align different verses with different subject, different meanings, okay? All right, and do some sharing again. Bhagavad Gita, share. Okay. Now then, I'm getting ready here, chapter 5, with your self-study questions, okay? As we get to the verses, we'll look at that for you, okay? We'll just move a few things around here. Okay, text 1. So again, Arjuna is still confused. So although he's heard transcendental knowledge from Krishna, yeah. I'll just read this section here. So in text 16 to 18 of the 4th chapter, Krishna glorified Jnana. Do you know those verses about action and inaction, etc.? So he's glorifying Jnana. So he spoke of action, in inaction, etc., and the other way around. Now, in text 41, Krishna glorifies of the last chapter of chapter 4. He glorifies both Gyan and renunciation. Yeah, one who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, situated fractured in self, is not bound by the reactions of work. So, renouncing. Yeah. So, yeah. the beginning of chapter 3, he asks, which is better, work or renunciation of work? Yeah, so again, he's here. Arjuna says, so text 1. Oh, Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work. And then again, you recommend work devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me, definitely, which is the more beneficial? Now, Krishna's already explained it to him, but he hasn't grasped it, he hasn't understood. And even us in study, we might not have grasped it yet. So this chapter is going to go deeper into the subject of Karma Yoga. Yeah. All right. Again, this is Krishna's plan that Arjuna is confused. Yeah. So in other words, because this conversation is not taking place just for his benefit, it's taking place for our benefit as well. So, so it gives Krishna a chance to stress further that work and renunciation are not opposed to each other. Again, work and renunciation are not opposed to each other. It is they can be done at the same time, and it's recommended actually to do them at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. Again, if you try and live a renounced life and your heart's not purified through detached work, there's a good chance you're going to fall away. Yeah. So better purify your attachments, not by artificially garbing the dress of a renunciate. Yeah. Act according to your nature, being detached from the works in your so here. Yeah, Arjuna hasn't, he's asking questions on it again. Yeah. So text 2, he mentions they're both good for liberation, but of the two, again, what does Krishna say? Devotional service is better. Okay, if for a qualified person, okay, but actually better work from your position in a devotional spirit. Yeah.
That is crystal clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was
But of the two, devotional service is better than the renunciation, because actually Nishkam karma is renunciation. You're renouncing the fruits. Yeah. But so working in the spirit of renunciation, that will also increase your knowledge. Yeah. Because you're working now for Krishna and you're detached from the fruits. So your knowledge, Krishna is going to give you transcendental knowledge. Yeah. So please, yeah.
So the word detach, yeah, the word detachment sometimes I think is too vague to be grasped. You know, and
Yeah.
the way I used to try and learn this was to think about verse 9.27, where Krishna's saying, whatever you do,
Go on.
whatever you do, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever actions you perform, you know,
That's nothing to
different.
me.
So your detachment's about. Is it about understanding that you're not actually the owner of anything? It all belongs to God.
Say again?
You're not the owner of anything. Everything belongs to God. Is that sort of pure
Yeah.
detachment?
You want to cut to the chase?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find detachment vague as a word. It's vague because it can mean so many.
Well,
There can be so many levels of detachment.
yeah, so that's why here, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he's opening up very important principles. Because it can be misunderstood when you mention renunciation and detachment. You think of saffron, you think of the Himalayas, you think of no work, you think of no relations, you think of Manohara, you know? But no, actually, renunciation, and here, what do you have word to use? Renunciation and detachment. Sorry, it's the same again. So renunciation, detachment can be done while one is working in this world. Yeah, detached worker. You're working. You're in the world. You have a family. but you have a strong sense of Krishna consciousness, so you're detached. And that's described, I think it comes up in this chapter, like a lotus leaf on the water. The lotus, it is untouched. Yeah. Yeah. So please.
I might be very late to ask. So there's one thing which is renunciation of work, and other is like devotional service. So how will we, like, in one line, how will we describe renunciation of work?
Well, we may not be qualified to renounce work. Therefore, we should work in Nishkam Karma Yoga, being detached from the fruits. Yeah.
I have a question.
Please, is that okay? So renunciation of
What's like the meaning of, like, if you have to say like renunciation of work, how do we describe?
Well, there's two ways to look at it. If you have the adhikar, then renunciation of work may mean that. It may mean sannyas. Yeah, if you have the adhikar. If your heart's been purified. But also for someone who there may be some attachment, then they will work, but with a sense of detachment. So they renounce from the fruits. Yeah, and Krishna prefers which one?
Well,
Working and gradually becoming purified.
Rather than like become like sannyasi.
Yeah, because you'll become sannyas, but your heart won't be sannyas. You're still maintaining attachments in your heart. Yeah. Sannyasi, taking sannyasi, then they they may become distracted. They might start lamenting, oh, I took sannyasi.
people ask us on the street sometimes how to answer them. They're like, why your people are just sitting in the temple chanting all day? Why they're not out there working, building the railways, doing these things?
Well, where devotees work, you've seen how hard these Sankirtan devotees work?
Super.
Every day they're going out on the street, Every day they work. So devotees work hard for Krishna. Yeah.
But the thing is that why you're not helping them?
Murli works very hard.
No. Why are we not maintaining? It said we're doing the best work. We're doing the most important work. Yeah? The most important work to give people knowledge in this world, so they can fend themselves from the miseries of this world. It's a very important work. It needs it. We need railway workers, we need doctors, and we need Hare Krishnas to guide people in life. We need knowledge. We need sadhus as well. So for sure.
I was like answering what you were just.
Yeah.
So does it mean like, let's say if we have responsibility, we can't just like abandon them and go like for sannyas? We should work for those responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like Arjuna can't just go to forest and meditate. He has the responsibility to fight.
Yeah.
So that is
By artificially doing it,
okay.
one can occur reactions for that.
Okay, so
Being
he has
artificial.
to fight in the battle, but being detached with the results.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Satyakumar. Oh, hand on Zoom. Yes. Thank you. Mavaharini, please.
Yes, sorry. So yeah, my question is, how can we be detached? Does that mean that like negative emotions should not be involved? Like, for example, if we try to organize something or cook, and it's not, the cooking is not good or the organization not well, like, does it mean that we should not be disappointed or angry or all of this? We should just be like, yeah, how can we be detached?
Again, detachment doesn't mean being cold or having no emotions. Ultimately, we want to do nice devotional service for Krishna. Yeah. So say like you want to bake a cake and it comes out wrong. If, for instance, if you make a cake for Krishna and you put salt instead of sugar, the head pujari comes to you and complains and say, well, why don't you be detached? Just be detached, man. It doesn't matter. No, that's a misunderstanding. We should always want to do things very nicely for Krishna. But we understand ultimately the ultimate sanctioner of all our activities is Krishna. But we want to do it nicely for Krishna. And if it goes wrong, we shouldn't, this doesn't mean we put the blame on Krishna. Oh, it's Krishna, your fault, maybe put salt in that, you're the supreme doer.
So many people say that.
No, I'm just exaggerating a bit. I'm exaggerating the example. I haven't heard anyone say exactly that yet. They normally blame the cooker.
There's a missing thing. Sorry, Murli,
Yeah,
there's a
please.
missing thing in our discussion. So I think detachment is also about not satisfying your own senses, but satisfying the senses of Krishna. So it's not about I'm not doing this to enjoy myself for myself.
As well, yeah.
Giving up that idea.
Yeah, this cake or this activity is for Krishna. Did that help, Mother Harini?
Yes.
Kind of. So yeah, we do have to do our service or serving Krishna to the best of our capability. Yes, Mother Lisa.
What do you do when other people's idea of your duty to them conflicts with it, or will affect your Christian consciousness? Because, say, for instance, there's demands from the family.
The two?
Say there's demands from the family, and if you
There's what in the family?
demands from the family.
Demands. Okay.
Yeah. And if you to accommodate that, then there would be no time for
Yeah, so Mother Lisa's asking, if there you have conflicting demands, you have your particular lifestyle as a Hare Krishna, but your family are putting demands upon you, which is crossing over on your particular virtues or your particular principles of Krishna consciousness. You're going to have to look at that situation on the individual basis, and because it's not easily understood. Sometimes the Krishna conscious thing for you to do is to engage maybe in a family function or activity for the betterment of the relationship in the long run. Yeah. So you might have to go about that activity with a sense of detachment and depend upon Krishna. Just like we have devotees, I know devotees who are coming from Hindu backgrounds and they have extended family. Extended family means extended family things and celebrations and weddings, etc. Yeah. So they have to draw the line that they have to engage somewhat, so that they can remain healthy relationships with their family. But at the same time, if the demands are too much, then it's good to sit down and express and explain. If you're finding that your family demands is overriding your spiritual practices, that's where you may have to cut the line. That's where you may have to come to some type of understanding with the family members, So of course, every situation is different. Yeah. Like for me, I remember personally when my father was very sick, I was trying to do both things. I was trying to maintain a Bajaj department, all my services, then I would rush off to his place to actually look after him and his medicine. But at some point, I had to stop one activity. So what activity did I stop? Yeah, I had to stop my Bajaj services and take care of my father fully. Of course, I still follow Krishna consciousness and stuff like that. And I attended the morning program and etc. But I signed off on the management. And other devotees took care of it. I think it took about two or 3 months or 4 months. So there was something for me. That was a Krishna conscious thing to do. The un-Krishna conscious thing to do was, let the nurses come around once a week or something to take care of them. That was, for me, that was the wrong thing to do. Okay.
Your father was quite favourable towards Krishna.
No, he was against Krishna consciousness. So that's a whole nother story. But then he became favourable because of what I did. He became favourable. Yeah, changed. Yeah, for sure.
These things fall under the definition of Anya Abhilasha, which explained it's not Abhilasha but Abhilashita.
Yeah.
for example, you fall sick, taking medicine is not bhakti, but it's not against bhakti. Whatever is required to continue bhakti is part of the devotional service.
Yeah, whatever is required to continue bhakti is part of devotional service. Yeah. So you want to maintain a nice, peaceful relationship with your family members as much as you can. So you're going to have to make some compromises here, there, but definitely not. If they invite you for a meal and they say you're having chicken, get it? That's the line. You draw the line. You draw the line. You've got to draw the line somewhere.
So it goes back to Prabhuji's point about renunciation. It depends on realization, right? Because
Depends on your qualification.
Yeah.
Your adhikar.
Because I think of an extreme example about, I think when I was reading the biography of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he was living away from his family and he's going to leave, and they tried to bring him back. And then they said, no, they couldn't convince him. So they said, at least can you do us a favor, sign over the land deeds to your son. And he said, well, actually, you know what? If it says Krishna is going to take care and I'm leaving, so he wouldn't do that either. So he just left without signing over the land deeds. That killed me. I couldn't sleep for a week. Well, no, you just no. But if Krishna is going to take care, then why? So he just
It's a shame we don't have the microphone here. I don't suppose you heard that online, no?
We can do it again.
It's okay, you missed it. Only those two. He was just trying. He just give an example. Nine was given an example of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, who, when he renounced his family life, then he didn't renounce the deeds and the ownership to the land, which caused the family some grief. So did he build a temple on that land in the end?
I think so. I mean, he was willing to give it up, but he to set the point, he wouldn't sign over as in he doesn't want it. He's going away. There's like, if Krishna's going to take care, then you don't even need me to do this. He will literally take care.
Yeah.
Then we can go the Prabhupada's example. He never left with till the time the son was old enough. He didn't leave the family life until his son was old enough to take care of.
Well, he left the family before they was all married.
Yeah.
That caused quite some grief for the family. He left even before the daughters were married.
The son was earning, like he can take care from now.
Yeah. But he got a lot of family members complaints to it. Time, it's different, yeah. Circumstance. Sometimes what you see one person's example may not be another example, may not be our example. That's why there's two verses. One verse, this point comes up twice in Bhagavad Gita. Don't accept another's duty. Even if you could do it better, stick to your own duty. Follow your own path. Don't artificially try to follow another's path. That path may not be for you, and it may be dangerous.
Marketing point on home about the attachment. I was just thinking that when it comes to Krishna, it's not good. No one should be more attached. If you're cooking or what you're doing, it's only from these material things to
be attached to doing it nicely for Krishna. All right. So a few minutes to have a break. We've got till 12 o'clock, then we have 10-minute break, 15-minute break. So okay, so what verse are we on now? That was, we're going on text 2. Oh, I haven't gone so far. We're private in 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which text are we on? 3? No, we're on 2. Okay, let's go from 2. All right, so yeah, we're just discussing 2. So going on to 3, okay. Text 3. Yeah. One who neither hates, one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities. So this is a good explanation of being detached. Neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities are known to be always renounced. So that's a renounced person. Such a person is free of duality. He overcomes material bondage. Yeah. So internally, one may be just like a sannyasi who is renounced. Yeah, they're not attached to the fruits. They're completely detached. They may be more detached than a sannyasi sometimes. Yeah. Such detachment, feeling neither hatred nor desire for the fruits of work, is the mark of a true sannyasi. So Krishna is asking Arjuna to be a sannyasi, but not the external garb, inside. Yes, Murli.
So does that mean not, so not disliking money then? Because then you're not adverse.
Yeah, here it's interesting. It's no hatred. You're detached. You're using it for Krishna's service. There's some sadhus that, as you know, they won't touch money. No touch money. Prabhupada said, I touch, give me money. Give it to me. Prabhupada famously said that. So yeah, so you understand sometimes if you're attached to something and you want to be not attached to it, but you're attached, you're going to come across as being adverse. Why are you adverse? Because you're attached. That's why you're adverse. You're no. You're adverse because you have to be, because you know you're attached to it. So you go the other way. But if you're naturally attached to Krishna, you'll just be detached.
That's where extremism.
Yeah. You're trying to be artificially detached. The reason you're artificially detached is because you're attached. But if you're really detached, you won't even notice. You'll just be fully absorbed in Krishna. There will be no battle. You know? Now,
What does it mean by?
Now, in the beginning, there may be a battle because you have to keep yourself in the path of Krishna consciousness, so you follow the principles. But eventually, as you become Krishna conscious, then it's different. Sorry, online?
Yeah, what, I mean, dualities here. What's he referring to? Happiness, distress, that sort of thing.
Yeah, generally, that's what it's, yeah. Happiness, all the dualities that we find in this world. Someone praises you. Oh, you're so wonderful. You're so this. Then someone else says something, doesn't praise you, or you're always thinking about yourself, or why can't you do this and that? We have to face both, so expect both, and then you'll be detached from both. Yeah. All right, number 3. We just described that, yeah. Number 4. Okay, let's go number 4. Okay. Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, Shankya. Those who learned say that he applies himself well to one of these paths, achieves the results of both. Okay. So both karma yoga and Shankya are both devotional service and the practice of Shankya. They involve the principle of renunciation. All right. But what's better to renounce? So work should be done with should one work with detachment or altogether renounce work? We've already concluded. You work with detachment. Yeah, Krishna is clear and consistent. He's saying the same thing because Arjuna hasn't understood, so he's saying the same thing. So chapter 5 is going deeper into this subject of karma yoga. Yeah. So work of renunciation, here it's the same thing. You're not working for your miserly self anymore. You're actually working for Krishna. Yeah.
Is that a state of consciousness, or is that with regards to the fruits that come?
No, you have to. Good point. Is it just everything I do is for Bhagavan? Everything I'm doing for Krishna? Can you give donation? No, you have to give fruits. Why? Because you're attached to the fruits. So give some fruits to Krishna. Yeah, you can do it many ways. You can spend money on nice altar at home and dresses for Krishna, do like that. You can give donations. You can invite sadhus, devotees around, feed them, prasadam. Spend money that way, the fruits that come from your labor. And maybe there's so many different preaching strategies in ISKCON. You can pick so many where you feel inclined. But yeah, that's a good question. And it's not just a mental thing, it has to manifest, being detached from the fruits of one's work.
Yeah. It's a practical thing.
Yeah, it's a practical thing.
Keep what you need for your maintenance.
Yeah.
Required, and you don't want to be a disturbance.
Yeah.
And then the excess.
Engaging in Krishna's service. Yeah, according to your means, according to your capabilities, you know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right, let's have a okay, we had lost some verse. Okay. Chapter, not chapter, text 5. Okay. Tell me if I miss a verse, okay? Because okay, one who knows, so Krishna concludes here, one who knows the position reached by Shankya, yeah, can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees them both on the same level, sees things as they are. Yeah. So the yogi in the Himalayas meditating, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this, being free. And the devotee living in London with a supermarket shopping in Sainsbury's, they can be just or more detached than the yogi. Because everything's for Krishna. I'm going to offer this to Krishna, what I buy. I'm going to feed the Vaishnavas with it. You know, and they're just as renowned, they're just as advanced, maybe more advanced than the yogi in the Himalayas. Okay, so let's have a break. We'll come back on text 6. How many minutes? 10 or 15? Huh? Okay, 15 minutes. Okay, everyone online, you have 15-minute break. Let's get back at 12:15. Hare Krishna.
Any sound? Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, we got a few seconds before. No, it's 12:15. Okay, we're ready to go. Hare Krishna. We've lost a few people here live. Hare Krishna. Let's begin. We said we'd start. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's continue. So looking at text 6. Okay. 5-6. So Krishna's he's continuing to discuss the two paths and how they relate to each other as one path. Okay. Merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging devotional service, cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaging devotional service can attain the supreme without delay. Okay. So we're not, yeah. Nice verse, merely renouncing but not engaging in devotional service to the Lord actually cannot make one happy. Okay, so let's go to text 757. This is
It's the camera.
it's not on, I'll turn it on now. Here we go. Hare Krishna. Okay. Let's have some devotees can read as well. Someone would like to read text 7. My voice is going a bit. Just read the translation. Go ahead. Yeah.
One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul, and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled.
Yeah. Now, Prabhupada in the purple, he dedicates a lot of the purple to a lot of purple describes to making it clear, because the Mayavadis, they have issue with this word here. I'll just highlight it here. Shava Buddhatma, Buddhatma. Yeah. So they take it to mean that the soul becomes the soul of all living beings, that the soul becomes one. But Prabhupada making it very clear here that this Shava Buddhatma Buddhatma means compassion for all souls. So Prabhupada speaks about that in the purple. Yeah. And then he brings up, I think it's here, he brings up also the question can be raised. What about Arjuna? So here,
Charge is not there.
everyone is dear to him. He is dear to everyone, and everyone becomes dear to him. So is everyone dear to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Is he being offensive?
No.
So Prabhupada answers that here. Prabhupada says that Arjuna is only superficially offensive in wanting to fight. Yeah. Yeah, he's not being so dear to those he's going to kill. So, but it's superficially, you could see it like that. But actually, it's described here, yeah. It's already been explained in the second chapter that Arjuna is not going to kill anyone. Yeah. So some of that might come up, yeah. But this is nice. One who works in devotion is a pure soul, who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. So you can try that. You can try controlling your senses, being in control of yourself, and you find you're going to get better. You're going to develop better, nicer relationships with people here in this world. Yeah. Yeah. One who works in devotion. Yeah. So therefore you do not become entangled. Anyone's become entangled in this world? Yeah. When you get into an argument or disagree with someone, but then you become entangled. Family feud, family fight, and it's a big mess, you know. But if you've got a pure heart, then you're not going to get entangled the same way. Mystical, it's almost mystical. Someone who is a pure-hearted soul, then everyone has affection for them and they have affection for everyone. Just like Prabhupada, you know? Prabhupada
But what if someone is wrong and we are trying to tell them that, that's not an argument, right?
Well, no, if you're like Prabhupada, you're so pure-hearted and your intention is not coated with envy or malice, if you're pure-hearted, they would appreciate that. Unless they're extremely envious, then no matter what you say, they're going to react in a certain way. They might even crucify you, as history shows.
Pure-hearted means what? Control of the senses.
If that's a symptom of it. Pure-hearted means you're completely dovetailed your whole sense of being for Krishna's service. And automatically your senses are controlled. You're pure-hearted.
So a byproduct is that you won't get into entanglements with people.
It'll be your move. That's what you just like a yogi, they're not here, they move in the so this material can become like, well, you're moving, but you're not becoming entangled in any arguments, any negativities, you're just, moving in this world. So I see some of our senior devotees, they get, who's that devotee? He always seems to float everywhere. He's never disciple of Radha Swami, took sannyas. First to take sannyas from Radha Swami.
Garanga does?
Who? Garanga? No. Garanga's not taking sannyas. Many ways to take initiation from him.
Darshan does?
Maharaj, Dr. Rasamrita Maharaj. Whenever I see him, he gives me an impression of someone who floats around like this. It's in this world, pure soul. Otherwise, an impure soul with an impure heart, you fight with anyone and everyone. Always getting entangled in disagreements in the family and everything, Impure. Anyway.
Well,
Sorry?
just a quick question on this.
Please,
On this first. Yeah. So the commas after devotion and after pure soul, does it really mean one who works in devotion will become a pure soul who will control his mind and senses? Or are those independent categorized characteristics of someone who works in, how does that grammatically work?
Well, there's different levels of purity even. So one's intention, an overall compass in life, an ultimate hope for is pure. They want to act in Krishna consciousness and they want to achieve Krishna. But by dint of association with the material energy, the heart may be somewhat still impurities in the heart. Yeah. But then as they progress towards their goal, to their pure intention, so they're pure devotee. They know they got wrong desires, but they want to get purified. Then eventually their heart, through hearing and chanting about Krishna and gaining different depths of meditation, smaranam upon Krishna, then the heart will become pure. So the whole self will become pure in a due course of time. And will only desire Krishna's satisfaction. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, got that. Yeah, thanks.
So the intention is pure. Like our intention is pure. We want to go back to Godhead. That's a pure intention. Okay. That means you're a pure devotee in one sense. But then we still have to go through some purification of heart.
It's a good check and balance for yourself in terms of acid test, how much entanglement, arguments.
Yeah, you can tell. If you're getting into arguments with this person, that person, you can tell you're in bad consciousness. I mean, it's not good. You become susceptible to the modes of material nature. If someone comes to you in a passionate mood and has a go at you, and then you have a go back, hey, you've been captured. You've been captured by the modes of material nature. But if you can stay equipoised, peaceful, observe their mode, and not also join their level, it's good. Such a good one.
I'm just thinking, because I think sometimes they say that Krishna
from Arjuna that don't try to renounce, because if he goes to the forest, he'll probably just pick a fight with somebody.
Yeah, it's described like that.
So I'm just wondering then that the name obviously because I mean that picking a fight and quarreling could that also be part of the person's nature that they have that.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is nature, and Krishna speaks to Arjuna throughout the Bhagavad Gita at different levels for the sake of the people in general. So he brings up to Arjuna that you're not qualified for that. Yeah, you're not qualified. Although Arjuna is ultimately, he is qualified, but he's been covered by Krishna, so he's not qualified. His nature as a Kshatriya will come out when he goes to the ashram. This is my part of the ashram. This is my land. This is my fruit tree. My cow. Don't cross over my space. I own this space. So that will come out in the ashram. Yeah, but then eventually Krishna gives Arjuna's instructions on this higher nature. Savadhanam paryatyacha mam ekam. So Arjuna, just give your life to me. Yeah, I shall take care. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. All right, so let's have a look at text. That was text 6, yeah. Was that text 6 or that text 7?
Oh, sorry.
7. That was 7. So that's text. So text 8 and 9 come together. So again, the next two verses, Krishna describes the Jitendriya. So someone who's renounced, they're in control of their senses. So how then do they go about their activities? So how do they go about their activities while they're engaged in doing things? Yeah. So this is the next verse. A person in divine consciousness is all engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping and breathing, knows within himself that actually he does nothing at all. Because while doing all of this, he knows that it's only the material senses who engage with their objects. He is aloof from them. Now, it's not an easy platform. It's quite an advanced stage, but this is how someone views things, their activities, while they're doing Nishkam Karma Yoga. They understand all this is going on, but actually I'm the soul, transcendental. Yeah, it's just a machine. This body's a machine, this car's a machine, and this car, well, my body's made of the same elements as the car. You know, I just happen to be sitting in the car and it's doing everything. We are sitting in a body and there's sensors, there are lungs and our blood, and it's all doing, it's moving, and we are the passenger. Yeah? So someone devotees become aware of this to one, yeah? Okay. Any questions about that? So Jitendriya. So the next question then, as we go into number 10, does the work of a detached person result in any simple reactions? And I think we've already touched upon that. But Krishna's making it clear. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results to the Supreme, is unaffected by simple reaction. As the lotus is untouched by water. Padma patram ivam sa. Padma patra means a lotus. Yeah. We gave that example before. They're just like a lotus that are moving in the world, but they're untouched by any simple action, simple reaction. Okay.
Sorry, Murli, Prabhu. The last verse on this verse, is there also
the last
I understand the last verse and this verse, is there also an understanding that in the end there's nothing permanent in the material world, like it's all going to dissolve at some point? in the future. There's nothing permanent about your action here.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah. You could say that. You could put that in as a further description of what's been described, that it leads to a sense of detachment. Yeah. Okay. So someone could read text 11. So first a question then. If someone, okay, so they have this realization. So they're very detached. They're working in the world, they're very detached. So why work at all? If you're so detached, then you stop working. Why work at all? Good question. Huh? If they're so detached, they can just walk out, leave the world. But yeah, but so that's the question. So the answer to text 11. Someone could read text 11. Why do they engage in? Yes.
Yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and senses only for the purpose of purification.
Yeah. Sadhus will do also, they're purified. They act for purification. So they act with their mind, body, intelligence, and senses. The only purpose is to get purified, to get further purified. Yeah. Yes. Here's something from Bhakti Vijabhushana. Citing the behavior of saintly persons as evidence, Krishna elaborates on the previous verse with the beginning, Kayena. Yogis carry out work that has to be executed with body, mind, and senses without false identification of the self with the body and so on. Kevala means fully purified. In a phrase beginning, abandoning attachment, the words for the purpose of purification of the self mean for the sake of giving up one's false identification with the body of the self. And Prabhupada writes, this is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. He quotes, Mai Savani Kamani. Prabhupada's quoting in the purple. Resign all your works unto me. Yeah. So again, that's, yeah. So text, that was 11, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, 11. I was quoting from the previous purple. 11. So then Prabhupada quotes this well-known verse here in purple. Ihayasya haridasya kamana manasa gira niklo apivastu su jivam mukta so uchite. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in the service of Krishna with his body, mind, and intelligence, and words, is liberated person, even from the material world, although he may be engaged in so many material activities. All right? It's a good description of how such a soul, just like Arjuna, he's going to be just like this. Yeah. Just Jivan Mukta, one's considered Jivan Mukta, even though they're still in the body. Okay, everyone online, you still with us? Hare Krishna. Any questions online?
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Okay. Text 12. Yeah.
You have to deal with people, in the sense that you could see it like a road sweeper could be a Jivan Mukta. Because just doing his work.
Yeah. Nayan's saying you have to be careful how you deal with people. The person sweeping the road could be a Jivan Mukta. I didn't see the film, but I saw a clip of the film where there was all this mayhem going around him. All these youngsters were larking around, and there was this guy who was sweeping the roads. And he was a super mystic from another realm who had just the job of sweeping the roads, But anyway, we should be respectful to everyone, generally. Yeah, we should be respectful to all jivas, and that comes up as well in this chapter. Yeah. Okay, someone can read text 12 for us online or on site. Whoever gets there first. 5, 4.
The steadily developed soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to it. Whereas a person who's not in union with the Lord who's greedy for the fruits of his labor becomes entangled. Okay.
Yeah. So nice description, isn't it? So this verse is summarizing the previous 5 verses, yeah? And he speaks as a summary here. Okay, the summary of all of this is the steady devoted soul attains unadulterated peace. Why? Because he offers everything to Krishna. Yeah. Whereas the person who's greedy, miserly, yeah, they become entangled in this world.
As you asked this question, that if we are detached, so why work at all? So that
Yeah.
would be for the purification of our heart. Right?
Yeah, for the purification. There's a verse in the 18th chapter speaks in the same type of vein. Even the great souls engage in charity, penance, and austerity. Why? For purification of the heart. That's what sadhus do. Even though they're purified, they do things for purification. Because that's where they get their, that's their life is becoming purified.
And we give this as a direct answer, right? There's 4 types of people come to Bhagavad. So in the temple, which is outside, a lot of people are like, oh, I've got no peace, I'm suffering this.
Yeah. There's a lot. Everyone wants peace. And you cannot have any happiness without peace. That's described in the verse there as well, yeah.
They can't be offended because it's Krishna's words, not the purity. So if I say it, people might take an issue.
Tell them to read it. All right. So then the next 4 verses, I just answers a question that's already been discussed in the 3rd and 4th chapters. Now this, so we can grasp this. Who is the doer? The living entity. Who is the doer? The living entity, material nature, or the Paramatma? So the first of these 4 verses, Krishna describes the Jivatma's role. The song can read text 13.
What is living being controls his nature and mentality and mentally renounces all actions and resides happily in a city of 9 caves, neither working nor causing work to be done.
Yeah. So it's akarma. I mean, he's working, but the sense that there's no there's no reaction. Because he's working with transcendental knowledge. So he's working. So neither working nor causing work to be done means he's not entangled. Yeah. So that was 13. Yeah, you have a question or 5-10, you gotta remember these in your self-study. So just go back to 5-10 and give the English meaning of the word pradhana. Should be quite simple. Look in the word. Pradhana. Pradhana. Huh? Better look. I was hoping you could find it. Let me look. 5-10, the English meaning of the word pradhana. It might be interesting.
Especially in the purple.
In the purple, okay. Where is it in the purple?
First line. Technically called Pradhana.
Okay, there it is, yeah. So this is the answer. The material world, which is a sum total of the manifestation of 3 modes of material nature, is technically called pradhan. That's the answer you want to choose in your multiple choice, okay? Pretty simple, right? Now go to 12, another question here. 12. Give the English meaning of the phrase phalam tratva shantim apimoti naistikim. That's the verse, okay?
Yeah, the results of all activities.
What was the question, sir?
Give the English meaning of the phrase phalam tratva shantim. So that's the results of all activities. Apnoti Naishtikim. Apnoti Naishtikim. The steadily closed soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of the activities to me. Okay? Is that clear? 512? Or is that not clear? So phalam, if you look in the word for word, phalam means fruits, or phalam means fruit. Trakva means giving up. Shantim, we know, means perfect peace. Apnoti. Apnoti means achieves. So they achieve close to yeah. So basically you're going to want to quote this first line here. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Then where do we, then 13. List the 9 gates of the body. Okay. So that's mentioned there. Here. Where is it? The 9 gates of the body. Here.
Yeah, right.
Okay. There it is. Okay. Right, so then we're gonna, so text 13. Someone can read text 14 for us? Anyone? Someone?
The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature.
Yeah, so what does one achieve by working in the consciousness that's just described? Yeah. It doesn't create the fruits of action, or is no. All this is done completely situated in transcendent. It's all being done by the modes of material nature. And then Prabhupada explains, let's see, I'll just read here. The temporary body or material dwelling place which he obtains is the cause of varieties of activities and their resultant reactions. This is from the purport. Living in such conditional atmosphere, one suffers the results of the activities of the body by identifying himself in ignorance with the body. It is ignorance acquired from time immemorial that is the cause of bodily suffering and distress. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from the reactions as well. As long as he's in the city of the body, he appears to be the master of it. Actually, he is neither its proprietor nor controller of its actions and reactions. So one becomes, as soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free of reactions. There's back to Tirtha Maharaj. Everyone know back to Tirtha Maharaj, African-bodied from America. Then he went to Prabhupada and he said, Prabhupada, there is racism in your movement. Yeah, you know the answer again. There's no doubt there's some devotees, they joined the movement still with some misconceptions, so he felt it in dealing with devotees sometimes. He seems to be become discriminated against. So Prabhupada, there's racism in this, in the Hare Krishna movement. So Prabhupada said, if you think you're a black man, then it will be a problem. You understand? He now needs to get entangled in it. So here, I mean, it's an issue. It shouldn't go on. But from his perspective, it's becoming a problem for him. So because he was identifying with the body. But he doesn't identify with the body. Just like when Maharaj Rahugana gave Jad Barrett a hard time when he was carrying a pali. You useless bum! What are you doing? You're useless git. He really saw it. He was really giving him a load of stick. But Jad Barrett was completely not affected. He started telling him, you're calling me this, you're calling me that. I am a soul, I'm not fat, I'm not thin, I'm not slow, I'm not fast. And eventually the king surrendered to him. All right, so just elaborating on that. As soon as the living entity becomes aloof from the activities of the body, he becomes free from reactions as well. So imagine if Bhakti Maharaj got into it. You call me, you do. He could come back, you white son. You know? No, not this body. I mean, he wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. I'm exaggerating for emphasis, okay? Oh, man, Mother Anyesha's gone online. Hare Krishna. She's gone upstairs to the ashram. All right, so he's still here. That's good. All right, let's read text 15 again, but before this, because the super soul. Oh yeah, again to the spirit. Okay, so this verse is we are. All right, let's just, because the super soul is the doer, ultimately controlled by Krishna. He must be responsible for my sinful reactions. Why then should I receive reactions? When ultimately everything controlled by Krishna. So to remove this, Krishna speaks the next verse. So someone can read text 15.
Nor does the Supreme God assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge.
Therefore, they are responsible because they are in ignorance. It's not the Lord that's responsible. Okay. There's a self-study question here. English, this is the point we're describing before. Vibhu and Anu. What does Vibhu mean? It's right there in the beginning. Vibhu means the Supreme Lord who is unlimited knowledge, which is strength, fame, and renunciation. Yeah, that's Vibhu. Make it blue, okay? And Anu, I guess that's us. Mentioned here. Atomic. Yeah. So perhaps this is the better answer to give. This is what is quicker, yeah? The Lord is Vibhu, is omniscience, but the living entity is Anu, or atomic. Okay, so that's the answer.
So it means that
very small. So this we were discussing this earlier about the jiva, how small he is. Because he is a living soul, he has the capacity to desire by his free will. Such a desire is fulfilled only by the omnipotent Lord. And so when the living entity is bewildered in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But the Lord is not responsible for the reactions and reactions which may be desired. Yeah. So if someone commits a crime or murder and they go into court, Your Honor, the Lord made me do it. Okay, good point. You're a free man. No, we have to accept responsibility. In that sense, we are the doer. Ultimately, Krishna's the doer, that he's making the whole material world move. So he's the doer, but ultimately we are responsible for what series of reactions we receive in this world. We are responsible. Yeah.
I was
like you have a job.
the seventh.
Yeah, sorry. Abhijit, go on.
I was reading the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam last night again, and Maharaj Yudhishthira asks Narayana Muni, why does Shishupal get liberation when he was being behaving so appallingly?
Yeah.
And I think Narayana Muni gives the answer that that's just the way that the material world works. Krishna's not affected by that, by his insults or
Yeah,
anything, because he's aloof from that.
yeah,
So that's just the process of the byproduct of his behavior within that system of rules that Krishna's created.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that Krishna. So
Good point. That's why Krishna is known as, what's the word, the verse, Shamaham Shababhuteshu, the Dveshu Shtina Priya. He is completely, he is not dear to anyone, he is not anyone's enemy, he's completely aloof. I was going to say something, I just lost my train of mind then, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, such a...
On your point that if somebody says, oh, why did you kill that person? You say, oh, the Lord made me do it. Because in law, there is that defense, they call it diminished responsibility.
Yeah, then you have to go prove the mission, but then they will get less of a sentence. Yeah. A lot of people try to go for that line, you know. Diminished responsibility.
They have to prove you're mad.
Yeah, just like if we go down to, after this, if we go down to Govinda's restaurant and we eat 5 cheesecakes and we get sick, who's to blame? Govinda or us?
You get that in English. That's a good example.
Govinda's fault. It's Govinda's fault. It's not my fault. No. Otherwise, there'd be no sense of duty, no? There'd be no sense of morality, you know? So, I want to go down to Govinda's now. Yeah.
That's free will, basically.
Yeah, it's free will. Yeah. You can eat 1 cheesecake very nicely. Not get reaction. If you eat 2 or 3 or 4, you get reaction. Like I had this experience. I hardly eat pasta. I don't, but sometimes because it's quick to eat. Like yesterday I was busy, so I made it quickly. Boil water, 10 minutes, bus, done. I was so sick last night. And I threw it, it was actually coming up. You know, I couldn't digest it. It was my own fault, you know. Eat late at night, something like that. So it's my own fault. So I interacted with your energy in the wrong way. Yeah, of course it's something. Anyway, we understand this clearly, yeah? So let's read text 16. Let's
another example of in terms of limited capacity to enjoy.
Yeah, if I was Bhima had big capacity. Yeah, big capacity. So text 16. So this knowledge describes Krishna. So this knowledge, Krishna describes the results of understanding him in the next 3 verses. That's going to be described. So text 16. This is a result of being Krishna conscious. Someone could read text 16. Huh? Krishna describing the results of understanding what's just been described. Yeah, in text 15. What's the results? So someone could read 16.
Then, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which the science is destroyed. Then this knowledge looks everything. Yes, the sun lights of everything in the ocean.
Yeah, nice description, isn't it? As the sun lights up everything, someone in knowledge, everything becomes revealed. How to act, how not to act, Krishna's position, our position. Yeah. So I just read this part here. Another way to analyze how knowledge leads to liberation is as follows. Okay, there are 3 doers. The living entity is doer number 1. If he has knowledge, he realizes that all bodily activities are automatically carried out by the 3 modes of material nature. Therefore, the modes are doer number 2. The modes consist of inert matter. However, thus they simply carry out the activities which are desired by the jiva and sanctioned by the 3rd doer, which is the super soul. Therefore, the super soul who only who only sanctions can be called doer number 3. So sometimes Krishna is addressing doer number 1, sometimes doer number 2, sometimes doer 3. The material nature, the three modes of material nature. Yeah. Doer number 1, you can choose to do. Doer number 2, then there's a certain reaction from it. Then ultimately it's controlled by supersoul.
Why are you reading that?
Yeah, this is commentary by Bodhichan Prabhu called Surrender to Me. He's done a commentary based on the commentaries of the Acharyas. So you hear me quote from Vishwanath, Baladev Vijayabhusana. So he's done a commentary on Gita based on the commentaries of the Acharyas. So I often refer to that. He gives nice connections between verses and sections. Yeah.
Is that also an explanation of the verse about knowing the field of activities is the knower of the field? Is that also related to that?
Yeah. That's some Sambandha, knowing the jiva, the field of activities it moves in, etc. Yes, very good, Cole. Very good.
Paramatma is like the example earlier on with the two birds sitting in the tree.
Yeah, he sanctions ultimately. He's the sanctioner. He's moving the modes. The modes are moving the jiva, okay, and Krishna's moving, ultimately giving sanction for the whole thing to move. But he's not responsible for the wrongdoings. Jiva, through ignorance, is responsible for his own wrongdoings. Right, let's read text 16 or 17, excuse me. Someone can read text 17.
When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgiving through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight for the path of liberation.
Sounds very attractive, isn't it? When all this is, where one's intelligence, mind, and faith all fixed in Krishna, one becomes fully cleansed. Why? Cleansed of ignorance, of misgivings, through what? Transcendental knowledge. And then one attains the path of liberation. Yeah. So then this well-known verse is coming in text 18. So, and what of someone who is impartial? And what of the impartiality of those who transcend the material world in this way? What's their outlook? How do they see? So that's text 18. Someone could read text 18.
Humble says, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, cow, elephant, dog, and a dog eater.
Yeah, okay. Devotees know this verse. Some of us might know this verse. Nice verse. Let's say it together. Vijavanaya sampane Ramani gavi hashtani Shuni cheva sapaki cha Pandita samadashana. Okay, there's a nice picture you'll find in our Bhagavad Gita where the sadhu's looking, he sees with an elephant, the soul, dog eater, etc. Okay. So this is true knowledge. Yeah, this is true knowledge. People are so lacking today, you know. True knowledge, isn't it? See, with equal vision. They see with equal vision someone from Palestine and Israel. You see, they don't have any. Well, what am I going to pick next? Russia, Ukraine. There's a Russian, there's a Ukrainian. So which one do you like? Equal vision. At the moment, all the English are they're rioting against the Muslims. You know, they said, you get the idea. Humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, seek with equal vision, a learned and gentle. They see with equal vision a Liverpool supporter and a supporter of Manchester United. Seek with equal vision. So
these are like gross examples. They're easy to identify. My subtle even comes within our groups. You know, you have like reformist, traditionalist.
Yeah. I see equal vision of Ritvik and so here, this is the someone who's seeing through, his heart is purified, who's seeing transcendentally, you know. All right. So I think the next, give the English meaning of the phrase Pandita Shama Darshanaha. Quite simple. The last line, they see with equal vision. The Pandit, the learned person, sees with equal vision. You could just put that and that would be correct. So in the multiple choice, it's so easy, multiple choice now, you're going to see this. So what does Pandit Sama Darshan? Pandit means? Pandit Sama, equal vision. Darshan, they see. They see with equal vision. Okay? Someone could read text 19.
I have.
Okay, please.
But, let's say if somebody is a criminal, you can't see them with the same vision. If someone is a criminal, let's say.
A criminal?
Yeah, I've murdered someone, but we can't see them with the same.
No, this brings up the point. Like if you see a tiger, you should avoid it.
Yeah.
If there's something like a big announcement, tiger escaped from London Zoo, and you come across the tiger, you should get out of the way. Yeah, no, so you shouldn't, Prabhupada says you shouldn't embrace the tiger and say we should use it practically, you know. We do have to make some, socially speaking, we have to make some distinctions and distinctions are there.
So but practical as well.
Yeah, but ultimately we understand. We see that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Black, mauve, pink, white, red, blue, whatever party or political party they're in, whatever football team, whatever country, whatever it may be, but we should move in the world in a way that falls for like self-preservation of the body, you know.
It's funny as well because a thief can later on become, I don't know, a priest or
what's that thing? Every monk has a past.
Every sinner has a future.
And every sinner or every punk has a future. Every monk has a past. So every sinner has a future. Yeah. Okay. So, do we read text 19? Let's read text 19. Someone can read text 19.
Since minds are established in sameness and equanimity, already called the conditions of birth and death. They are fluid with one, and thus they are already situated in the Brahman.
Yeah. Sameness and equanimity. Yeah. This is Brahman realization. Yeah. Their Brahman realization, they see sameness and equanimity. They're looking at the world not with a desire of enjoying the objects of the world, but they're looking at the world with a sense of wonder and enjoyment, not wonder, but a sense of wonder and appreciation of everything being moved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that sense, they see everything same and equanimity. For instance, they are not, say, on Oxford Street, because we're on it, they are not lost in thoughts of the objects in the windows, but they're looking at humanity from a higher perspective of seeing all spirit souls. You understand? Appreciating from even like it's like the vision of Krishna's vision. They're appreciating movements of the mass of people. That's what they see. They're not on the lower consciousness absorbed in what's in the shop windows. They have Brahman realization. So they see equanimity, sameness and equanimity. There's thousands of people shopping on Oxford Street, all types of fashions, all types of countries or racial, all types. But someone in Brahman realization sees humankind, sees jiva. And Brahman, so therefore they don't lament, the verse describes, they don't lament about what has happened or not hankering for anything. Because what they have is everything. that knowledge they have is everything. There's nothing they want in this world. Yeah, this is called Brahman realization.
But can I just check the translation of that from? Does that mean Krishna literally? Because it says in the Supreme.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to read scriptures when it describes in the Mahabharata, in some translations, it speaks about Brahman. Brahman is a big subject. For some, it's the differentiated oneness. Depends on your school. But we understand Brahman ultimately to be Krishna, and then the Brahman effulgence coming from Krishna. But Brahman often in the Vedic texts can have different interpretations of Brahman. Sometimes it's we are Brahman. But no, Krishna describes in Gita there's different types of Brahman. There's part of Brahman ultimately. Sometimes material nature is described as Brahman in Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes the jiva is described as Brahman. But then there's power Brahman. That power Brahman is Krishna. Yeah, so we understand as Vaishnavas, Brahman to refer to Krishna. Yeah, then the Brahman effulgence as well. It's okay?
So last part is they already situated in Krishna or in the Brahman effulgence?
Yeah, well, we understand Brahman is referring to Krishna. They are situated in Krishna consciousness. And our understanding of Brahman is Krishna. Okay, so let's read text 20. So this person is a liberated person. So now more characteristics are going to be given. And these are really nice verses, these are. The characteristics of such a person. Text 20, someone could read.
A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the sense of God, is already situated in transcendence.
All right. So this is what we should attempt. This is how practicing devotee sadhakas, we should attempt to act in this way. So in the purple, Prabhupada says this is a symptom of a pure devotee. Sita, yeah. Oh, it's nice. A person neither rejoices upon receiving something pleasant nor laments upon receiving something unpleasant. Okay. Would you rejoice if you won £10 million? Yes. Would you lament if you lost it a week later? Many things are going to come at us in this world, good and bad. We need to remain a steady commitment to obtain Krishna consciousness. Yeah. We may come into material assets, an inheritance or whatever. That may cause us to become distracted. So in that sense, we try to be equipoised. Sometimes it's confusing. It says to be equipoised in happiness. What does it mean to be equipoised in happiness? That means things that come to you and give you happiness on the material platform can distract you from the goal. If you get a good job which gives more money, gives more facility for more sense gratification, then you used to go to the temple once a week, then you go once every 2 weeks, then you go just for festivals, then you go once a year. Then you understand it can because your material, you're getting distracted. So we shouldn't. So one who neither rejoices is self-intelligent. Yeah, he's already situated in transcendence. That person who is. Yeah.
There's no enjoyment in the material world, but just absence of suffering.
Yeah, there's no enjoyment. There's no. Yeah. Everyone's happy on Friday night. Why?
No
work next day. So it's based on, it's based on not suffering so much. Yeah. Okay, someone can read 21. So the characteristics of a elevated soul. 21. Read. Someone read.
Anybody online?
Okay, you started. Go ahead, Satchikamar.
Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme.
All right. So we use our intelligence to reject sense gratification, and instead seek pleasure in our japa, yeah, or in our devotional activities, yeah. So a liberated person attracted to material sense pleasure, yeah, enjoying a good kirtan, enjoying a good japa, yeah. All right. So let's have devotees online could read the verses from now. So the next two slokas, Krishna tells, these very good verses, why sensual desires are foolish. Okay. So someone can read text 22. Someone online.
An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them.
Yeah, it's a very nice verse. So the Sanskrit, let me just look at the Sanskrit again. Ye samspasya boga tukayanai evate anta antavatan kuntaya natishu ramate buddha. Yeah. Yeah. Nice verse. Huh? If someone challenges a devotee or someone interviews a devotee, you see this very attractive girl here, why don't you want to enjoy it? And you say, well, pleasure will have a beginning and have an end. I'm not interested. I want eternal pleasure. I want eternal happiness. And if everything in this world has a beginning and an end, yeah, someone who's wise man doesn't delight in it. Why should we delight in it? It's going to end. Yeah, beginning and end.
The example of the lottery ticket is very good as well, because
example of
the lottery ticket it helps you stop being puffed up, because you ask the question clearly, like, would you be excited? And I'm self-reflecting, probably would. So it shows you where you're at.
Yeah. It's quite a few. One devotee told me that not many, I don't know how many, but it's not uncommon for many of good few devotees have left Krishna consciousness when they get an inheritance. Yeah. Some have left. There's more than a few that leave when they get a big inheritance.
They don't have to come up with stuff.
So again, yeah. So we have to be the goal. What's the goal? If you get a big inheritance, you should ask your spiritual master what to do with it. Okay, you have some good ideas what to do.
These lottery winners. There's so many examples of them that they lost it.
Yeah, lottery winners. Lottery bugs they become. Lottery, we go. So someone online could read 23.
Before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world.
Yeah. Before giving up the present body, if one is able to tolerate these things. So how long do we have to tolerate the pushings of the mind and senses? Till the day we die. Yeah. Does the Maya give up? One day? Do we wake up to be liberated? I'm reading it. Do we wake up liberated, free from impediments caused by the mind? This verse answers that sense attraction must be tolerated and death. Now, ultimately, a devotee will be so absorbed in Krishna, and ultimately they will develop a spiritual body that it won't be a fight, it won't be an issue. They'll be so absorbed in Krishna. That's what we hope for when we leave this world. You know? But how long? Yeah, how long? Well, why we got this body, we got to keep controlling the senses. Yeah. Someone can read text 24.
Devotees dovetailing devotion, right? As opposed to controlling, with dovetailing, which I'm reaching.
Yeah, we use mind and senses in Krishna's service. Yeah, Savai Mana Krishna Pada Vindayo. All right, so text 24. The pleasure of spiritual realization is described. Someone could read text 24 online. Someone out there online?
One whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme, and ultimately he attains the Supreme.
It's verse 24, yeah. Could you read the purple as well? So do your best to follow the purple. Oh, you can see this as well.
Sure. Unless one is able to relish happiness from within, how can one retire from the external engagement meant for deriving superficial happiness? A liberated person enjoys happiness by factual experience. He can therefore sit silently at any place and enjoy the activities of life from within. Such a liberated person no longer desires external material happiness. This state is called Brahma Bhukta, attaining which one is assured of going back to Godhead, back home.
Yeah. So you can sit at home, you cannot go to the pub, you cannot go to the disco, you can sit at home and chant japa. Be completely happy, you can read about Krishna. Because your happiness is within. COVID, yeah, Game of Thrones. Yeah, I had a good time in COVID. Not a good, I don't know, a good time, but most of the time I spent singing in the temple room with the harmonium. Hours and hours and hours. It's great. It was great in the beginning, but after a couple of years, it's seeing no people coming to the temple. It's like tough, you know. But anyway, Hare Krishna. So we must get a higher taster. That's what's going to sustain us in our spiritual practice. Is we get more pleasure from Mayapur TV than we do nonsense on YouTube. Yeah, it gives us more sustenance, you know. So we have to hear and chant and have good association. Yeah. Otherwise, the chances are we're going to get overwhelmed by pushings of the material senses. Yeah, in time. Okay. So Krishna gives more symptoms in 25. Someone online can read 25. Anyone? Someone? Anyone online? 25?
Those who are beyond the dualities.
Thus, whose mind are engaged within, who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings, and who are free from all things which is liberating the
Yeah. So rise to free from all dualities, engage within. They work for the welfare of all living beings. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Prabhupada says here, a person engaged only ministering to the physical welfare of human society cannot factually help anyone. Temporary relief of the external body and mind is not satisfactory. The real cause of one's difficulties is the hard struggle in this. Yeah. Okay. I think I mentioned before, devotees who do this play. I mentioned this before, I think. Goes in Harinam and the devotee makes out they're drowning. Save me, save me, save me. Then the devotee makes out he's swimming. And he gets to the devotee who's drowning. Supposedly, he takes off his coat and he swims back to the side. So Tell me who here, what has he done? Oh, yeah. Okay, someone could read text 26. On site, let's have on site reading.
Those who are free from and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly enabling for perfection, are assured of liberation, supreme in the very near future.
Yeah, so this is verses reassuring, because after reading the text 24, 25, it may seem too difficult. It may be somewhat discouraging. Yeah. But Prabhupada used the word ultimately. So, in other words, the result won't be quickly, it may not be quickly achieved, but because it's the greatest thing, it's the greatest thing worth waiting for. And you will achieve it. Yeah? It's the greatest thing you could possibly achieve. All the three planetary of the material worlds is Krishna consciousness. Yeah? So someone can read text 26. On site, let's have on site reading. Xander, read 26 for us. 27, is that right?
Yes.
27, 28.
Okay. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between two eyebrows, spending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, and intelligence. The transcendentalist, aiming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who's always in this state is certain.
Okay. So this is explaining, because remember Krishna's speaking to a wide audience, and he wants to attract the yogis, wants to attract the Astanga yogis as well. Yeah. So that's why he speaks in this language as well, to attract them as well, ultimately to bhakti. Yeah. And also this introduces chapter 6, Jnana Yoga. Yeah. I'll just read a bit from here. After explaining the above principles of liberation in the Supreme, the Lord gives instructions to Arjuna as to how one can come to that position by the practice of mysticism, the Ashtanga Yoga, which is divided into eightfold procedure called Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So again, sometimes it's misunderstood that Bhagavad Gita is an encyclopedia of different processes. Take your pick. No, Krishna's bringing everyone to bhakti, but he's making it attractive to karma yogis, yeah, and here Astanga yogis. Yeah. And then we have text 29. So Krishna ends this chapter by telling Arjuna how he can remain peaceful, even on the battlefield. Okay, how can you remain peaceful, equipoised on a battlefield?
That's the best.
Yeah, yeah. So Arjuna's got quite a job in one sense, isn't he? It's not as if he's works as a blacksmith, Krishna, but he's actually he's got to engage in intense warfare. Yeah. So then Krishna explains how he can remain peaceful even on a battlefield. Someone could read text 29. Yeah. Text 29?
And austerities.
Is that text 29? 29.
Person full consciousness.
Which would you have there? What are you reading from? Prehistoric. I'm reading from prehistoric version. They got it. They got the. They didn't hear Prabhupada's translation. Here, go again.
A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiaries of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attaining peace from the pages of material miseries.
Okay. Bhaktaram yagatapasam savalokam maheshwaram suritim savabhutanam ganat mamam santam vichati. Papa quoted this again and again and again as a peace formula. Yeah? We understand these principles. Papa was serious about it as well. He wanted to petition the United Nations based on this verse. Yeah? He wanted to have a protest and say, this is you're wanting peace, this is how you can achieve peace. This is the peace formula. Yeah. Be full conscious of Krishna. Krishna is the beneficiary of all activities, Lord of all planets and demigods, etc. I'll just read part of this here. There's quite a bit here. I'll just read this part. Krishna is summarizing many topics discussed so far in Bhagavad Gita in this verse. So he puts them in context of achieving liberation. So Bhaktaram Yagna Sava Loka Maheshwaram refers to Krishna, not the demigods, okay? And the final enjoyable sacrifices by one practicing Karma Kanda, Karma Yoga. Yeah, he is the ultimate beneficiary. It's Krishna. Yeah. Bhaktaram Tapasam refers to the goal and beneficiary of the Gyanis attempting austerities. He is their goal. He is the ultimate beneficiary. It's Krishna. And Suradam Sarvabhutanam is directed towards yogis who meditate upon the super soul. Because it is a super soul as well as a well-wishing friend that accompanies the jiva from body to body. Okay? Hari Om Tat Sat. Okay, we have a special 3 minutes early. I hope that's okay. So thank you, everyone. That was chapter 5. Let's go chapter 6, a few more verses in chapter 6, text 47. Let's see how we go next week, okay? So thank you for your kind attention, and please do hand in your open book assessments as quick as you can. And also, I wish you well on your slokas, okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hare Krishna, Gaura Premanande. How do I stop share? How do I stop it? Oh, I think you have to stop it. I can stop it.